This is NASCAR Coast to Coast, brought to you by Hercules Tires, right on our strength, and by Grunt Style. Now, with all the news from NASCAR touring, local and international series racing, here are Kyle Rickey and Hannah Newhouse.
It's the week of Wednesday, October 24th, and we are here back on NASCAR Coast to Coast in MRN's Concord location. And we're missing someone, but we've also gained someone here. Kyle Rickey has taken a little bit of a leave of absence, but we wouldn't even call it that because he's down in Disneyland, or Disney World. World, but we're joined here by Steve Post. Looking forward. Thanks for coming on and filling the spot for us this week.
Well, I'm no Kyle Rickey. I understand that, so we'll go with that. I'm no Kyle Rickey, but yeah, he's in Disney now. Are you a Disney person?
You know, I grew up with Disney, but I can't say that I would miss a coast-to-coast show to go to Disney World.
At some point, you outgrew it. Okay, yes.
We're going there.
Kyle, no, I don't know. You know, it's funny. We do the Wing Nation show, and Bud Kading is like a rock star on the West Coast, and he has all these inside passes to Disneyland and everything. Like, he's geeked out more about Disney than Kyle is. Alex Hayden, also, from Motor Racing Network, he is a freak about Disney, too. I don't get it at all. I know there's some people that are like me that don't get it. I know there's some people middle of the road, take it or leave it. And then there's these guys like Kyle, and it's like, yeah, he would miss a coast-to-coast show to go to Disney. I mean, Kyle, you hang with Mickey, I'll hang with Hannah, I win. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, it's been decided. That's what we said. I said, okay, you're telling me you can't FaceTime in or Skype in while you're on the tram or whatever, or, Space Mountain. And he's like, Hannah, you're just going to have to go solo. Disney's taking priority this week. So
probably on some roller coaster or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we hope you're having a good time down there, Kyle, in Florida. But NASCAR continues to wrap up its touring championships all across the country. We wrapped up the K&N East at Dover with Tyler Ankrum. Justin Bonsignor collects a championship at the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. And the K&N Pro Series West up this weekend collects, can anyone catch Derek Thorne is the question.
That is the question. I mean, he's been so stout this year. He's been so solid and along the way. And so it's a game of catch-up for him, or for those guys to try to catch him along the way and wrap that one up. But yeah, it's been some great racing on the regional tours, the modified tours. It's been some great racing this year, and sad we get to this stage of the year. It's kind of, I mean, we're all tired, but it's like we're sad also.
It seems like the season just started. I feel like I just came on to Coast, and we were talking about, okay, who's going to be the one to watch, and now it's almost over.
From New Smyrna to Kern County and what happened in between, right?
Yeah, it's such a season of emotions. You're like, okay, I'm tired, but what are we going to do during the off season? So the NASCAR Euro also wrapped up their season this past weekend. Alonde captures his second consecutive Elite One division in the NASCAR Euro Series. It was a battle back and forth, back-to-back championships for him, as well as Ulysses Del Sa collects the Elite Two, so another touring division wrapped up. We head to Kern this weekend, Bakersfield, where they wrap up. But racing is not over all across the country, and we're actually going to get a chance to talk to the winner out at the Las Vegas Bullring. Up here in a little bit, Jeremy Doss. He collected his second Senators Cup win.
Yeah.
What a great race. What a great event out in Las Vegas at the Bullring.
Can't wait to talk to him about that. And, of course, he's got some Southwest races coming up to see what he's got on the plan. And then later in the program, we're going to talk to Burt Myers about the big TV production. But Burt's also still racing. He went to Victory Lane this past weekend. So, yeah, while some of the touring stuff is wrapping down, I think that's the beauty of racing. Racers are going to race. And in the case of Jeremy, he found a spot and found a place to go to Victory Lane this past Saturday night.
It doesn't stop. Racing does not stop. These racers, they find warmer weather, and in California is the place this up-and-coming weekend. Jeremy will also compete alongside the K&N Pro Series as the SRL Southwest Tour races with the K&N, so that'll be cool. He's looking for an SRL championship, his first one, so cool to talk to him today, get to race this up-and-coming weekend. But yeah, Bowman Gray, what a great TV series. Like, we've seen the Madhouse, and I'm not going to lie, that was a little before my time.
Okay.
But
yes.
I did get to see the I did get to see the promo video, and now that I've gotten to know people like, Tim Brown and Jonathan Brown and the Myers brothers, what a great opportunity to highlight short track racing.
Last year, I did some consulting work with the Southern Modified Racing Series, which is a local tour. It's the remnants, for lack of a better term, of the Whelen South Tour, okay? And so doing that, I got a chance to meet Tim and Burt and Jason and all of those stadium guys. I knew of them, but then getting to work with them on this stuff, Bobby Meismer Jr., and I just, when I was a little kid, okay, I'm a dirt track guy, okay, I'm not gonna come out here and tell you that I'm Mr. Asphalt, okay, I'm a dirt track guy, but I lived in upstate New York, and we would go to Shangri-La Speedway in Owego, New York, and they run the modified tour, the NASCAR type modifieds. This was back kind of, I think, before a tour. And there were nights at Shangri-La when Richie Evans, Jerry Cook, Maynard Troyer, George Kent were all there, and the racing was phenomenal. So, and I've been to Race of Champions and some modified tour races, and I've enjoyed it. I enjoy it when we go to New Hampshire and Bristol and when we see the guys. But last year doing that with the Southern Modified Racing Series, it was kind of like, I think I've really kind of fallen back in love with modifieds again, and I really enjoyed that. I was able to get to Bristol this year, and I actually made, I think, 3 nights at the stadium this year to go watch the modifieds race. So I love modified racing. I love going to the stadium. It's great fun, great times, and this Discovery program is it's fascinating to me. It really is, but it really kind of it paints what you see at the stadium really, really well, and it's great for short track racing to have this platform on the Discovery Channel where people will be able to see this and maybe, who knows, maybe go out to the short track along the way and see if they can check it out.
And the stadium is, if you've never been there, you've got to get out to Bowman Gray Stadium. It is a world within its own in short track racing, so cool to see Discovery Channel highlight this. And we'll talk to Burt Myers later on in the show. But first, when we return from the break, Jeremy Doss, this weekend's past winner at Las Vegas Bullring in the Senators Cup.
Chris Crockett, straight from the NASCAR stands, here with another member of our Toyota racing family, Jason.
Hi there.
Oh, you seem impatient.
Oh, well, I've been holding it in for a while.
A while?
Since it started.
The race?
No, the season.
Wow. Guess you don't want to miss any action.
Nope, I don't.
Oh, did you just see Denny Hamlin take the lead?
I haven't taken my eyes off him.
Jason, you don't look so good. Can I offer you some water?
Absolutely not.
NASCAR and Toyota Racing. With a family like this, who knows the places we'll go in the playoffs? Learn more at toyotaracing.com. Toyota, let's go places. NASCAR is a registered trademark of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, Inc.
O'Reilly. A rough running engine could be suffering from buildup of fuel and oil deposits. Smooth out a rough engine, restore power, and improve fuel economy with Seafoam Motor Treatment. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today and purchase 2 bottles of Seafoam Motor Treatment and get 1 free. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The race weekend doesn't have to end with the checkered flag. Carry the action over into Monday with MRN Motorsports Monday, presented by Outback Steakhouse. Log on to MRN.com and join veteran broadcaster Woody Kane and NASCAR spotter Joey Meyer as they review the race weekend and debate the biggest stories of the week ahead. Plus, some of the biggest names in the sport stop by to talk the latest topics. Make Monday your new favorite weekday with MRN Motorsports Monday at noon Eastern or anytime on demand at MRN.com.
This is NASCAR Coast to Coast, brought to you by Hercules Tires and by Grunt Style. Here are Kyle Rickey and Hannah Newhouse.
One of the biggest super late model races out on the West Coast was held this past weekend at the Las Vegas Bullring, the Senators Cup, where it brought super late model drivers from all across the West Coast, including up from Washington, down in California. And we've got this past weekend's winner on the phone, Jeremy Doss from California. Jeremy, your second win here in the Senators Cup. You had a last lap pass. It was a bump and run for that second victory. Talk me through those last 3 laps and eventually getting to victory lane.
Yeah, it was pretty nerve-wracking there at the end. All I could think about is how we lost it last year in the same fashion, and just really couldn't happen or let that happen 2 years in a row. So with $15 grand on the line, you got to do what you got to do, and I'm just really fortunate we were able to pick up the victory.
Well, and yeah, that's the irony of this thing, is that last year this one got away from you on a last lap pass. You actually were leading a bulk of the second half of that one when Grayson Raz drove by you. What were you thinking at that point? I mean, just describe the emotion you had as you with a couple laps to go, you get past, and the determination to make that winning pass. What was going through your mind at that point?
Yeah, like I said, all I could think about is what had happened last year was kind of the same exact thing. We were checked out leading with not very many laps to go with a late race caution, and as Grayson was passing me, I could not believe it. All I could think about was last year, and he ended up making his move just 1 lap too early, and I was able to capitalize on it and get back under him. And last year I had cleared myself going into 3, and this time I made sure to keep him on the outside so he couldn't get back to my bumper, and just we were able to pick up the win.
I feel like a lot of people can understand when I say you can see a driver's attitude and their thought process in their car. And you could see when Jeremy, those last couple laps got past, it was like, no, we are not doing this. This is not going to happen. We're not repeating this. Now, this is your second win here in the Senators Cup. Was the second win as cool as the first one?
I think it's a lot better. I think the competition's getting so much more tough, and it's a lot harder to win these type of races. So, and just to be able to rewrite the ending this year, so that just means a lot more this time.
Jeremy, can you kind of paint a broad picture for us of super late model racing on the West Coast? I mean, this is one of your big races. I know the Spears Southwest Tour is going on. The scope of it, I know you raced Washington, you won in Montana this year, but what's the state of super late model racing out on the West Coast, out where you're at, and how are things overall for the sport, would you say?
I think it's pretty good, and I think it's getting bigger and bigger. The SRL series has been really, really big this year. I think their lowest car count's in 20s, and they've been the high of 30s. And the competition is just so tough, and I feel like we're catching up to the East Coast, honestly. So I think it's going pretty good out here on the West Coast.
And I'll definitely go into agreement with them. Yeah. We've got the Northwest Super Late Model Series as well. That's
true.
newer.
Yeah, that's your neck of the woods, too.
Yeah, it's my neck of the woods.
Exactly,
yeah. We had a rough couple of years there where car counts were down, but I think people are taking that interest in knowing that, hey, we can still do it, and we're getting a lot of the help from the East Coast, too. You've got people that are giving us that technology and that competitive advantage that's really going to help us. Now, Jeremy, though, you won at the Bullring, but that didn't stop you. You caught a plane the next morning to Ukiah, and as if collecting a $15,000 check in a super late model wasn't enough, tell me what you did the next day and where you went.
Me and my crew guy, Bradley, we hopped on a plane and went and raced the bomber at our local short track. We like to see these local short tracks survive, and the only way you got to do that is to keep supporting it. So we raced the bomber. He was my passenger, and they had us start in the back with D-Main, and we were able to transfer that and start the back of the A, and we were able to win that. So it was just an add-on to already a great weekend.
It sounds like it. It sounds like fun, and just getting a chance to throw back. And I know you did it a couple times. I saw some stuff on your Facebook earlier this year. You got to run the bomber as well. Jeremy, one of the things that I found real curious, I was reading on speed51.com, and I read that during the summertime, you actually had to move out of your race shop because of the fires out there. Now, that was a story that was as you had moved out of the race shop. Whatever came of that how long were you away? How did that all play out ultimately?
Actually, we knew the fires were getting close, but we never thought it would get that close to us. So we were in the shop, and we just decided we were able to load all our race car stuff up, because obviously that stuff's not insurable. So we were able to take it down the road and put it in a safe spot. And then me and my dad ended up, since they were already evacuating us, we ended up going down and racing in Idaho. So we were already evacuated. We were already going to have to stay in a hotel room. So we might as well go race and enjoy ourselves while that was all happening.
I like it. Go race. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, if you're going to run, you might as well go race, right?
You're going to be evacuated from your house. Go race, right? Yeah. There's no better spot to go than a racetrack. That's cool.
Best way to take it. Now, Jeremy, you've won multiple races. We've talked about the Montana 200. You've got a victory. 2 Senator Cups. You're in contention here for an SRL championship. You've won PCS championships. There's no doubt that when people think of West Coast super late model racing, one of the names that comes up is Jeremy Doss. But what's next? What's that big race that you're looking at to check off on your list?
I'd love to win the Snowball Derby. I know that one's so hard to come by, and people have ran it so many years and not have been able to do it. But I feel like we're coming on really, really strong with the help of Senator Performance and Ernest and even Bubba Pollard and my dad, Mike Doss. I feel like our program's really, really strong, and we're going this year with one goal to win. Hopefully we can pull it off.
Jeremy, you're in California. Snowball Derby, the last time I knew, was in Pensacola, Florida. How much planning has to go into this to get yourself? I mean, I know you guys live out of a transporter. I get that. But what's the planning involved in this, and how big of an undertaking is it for you to get all the stuff over to Pensacola?
Oh, it's a lot. We have to have a guy drive out a week early just to get there. Mm-hmm. Last year, I was the one driving with another guy. But there's a lot of work that goes into it. We actually end up racing, I think our final SRL race is a week before we have to take off, so it's going to be a quick turnaround, but I think we'll be ready.
wrapping up with this past weekend's winner, Jeremy Doss, who won the Senators Cup out at the Bullring. Jeremy, we were talking about the Snowball Derby, what it takes to get out there. Obviously, warm weather still out in California. It's starting to get a little cold out here on the Carolinas. I finally could break out a jacket. But what does the rest of the 2018 season look like for you?
We have 2 more SRL races. We got this weekend in Kern, and then November 17th in November, which is the Vegas finale or the SRL finale, and then the Snowball Derby. And I think that's all we got for the rest of the year.
Well, that's pretty cool along the way. It's got to be good to have that race at Las Vegas coming back after winning this past week to end the season. Hopefully you can duplicate that and end on a high note, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's awesome. That's our final race, especially with all the success we've had there in the past. I'm really looking forward to it.
Always good to know that you've got good notes and return to the racetrack. Right. You're capping out this finale. All right, Jeremy, well, thanks so much for coming on. Congratulations on your win this past weekend, and I look forward to actually seeing you this upcoming weekend out at Bakersfield for the SRL race where we wrap up the K&N West finale.
All right, thanks for having me.
Awesome, guys. Well, when we return from the break, we're going to have Burt Myers on, a Bowman Gray name, and talk about this new show out at the Madhouse.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there, whether you're running on dirt or running a job. Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice, Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
When the smoke settles, the entertainment never stops. On race weekend, your favorite NASCAR personality is an everyday superhero.
Chase Elliott is going to victory lane.
But when they leave the track, they're just like us, everyday people.
You know, as I've said before, I'm going to be me. And
I'm Susie Armstrong. Join me on a daily journey as we discuss the hot topics and engaging personalities of NASCAR Nation. The world of racing, weekdays on the Motor Racing Network.
Hello, MRN crew call. Yes, you want to schedule an appointment with Sammy, Joe, and Rocco? I can do that. Now that comes with an all-access look down onto pit road. Are you okay with that? Sure, it's as close as you'll get to interviewing the race car. Now, do you need a reminder? Okay, you're scheduled for Wednesday at noon Eastern. Just come to MRN.com or the MRN Facebook page and ask for crew call. We look forward to seeing you. Goodbye.
This is NASCAR Coast to Coast, brought to you by Hercules Tires and by Grunt Style. Here are Kyle Rickey and Hannah Newhouse.
Another opportunity to highlight short track racing out here on the East Coast, a new show on the Discovery Channel. Race Night at Bowman Gray premieres this up-and-coming Monday, October 29th, and we've got one of the stars of the show, Burt Myers, who's coming off of a win at Orange County. Burt, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks. Glad to be here.
Now, this new show highlights, it's, a revamp somewhat of the Madhouse that we've talked about. How cool is it to get this opportunity to bring awareness out to Bowman Gray into the racing program that you guys have created out there?
Well, we've said for years that we were fortunate enough to be on TV, but short track racing in itself, there's tracks just like this all across the country that people can go out on any given weekend and be a part of and experience. And just kind of almost be hands-on. Bowman Gray is kind of its own animal, I guess you could say. But, it's really cool to be able to be a part of this and with Discovery and everything that's going on. And, I'm kind of spoiled because I grew up at Bowman Gray, so I've been able to experience my whole racing career.
Well, Burt, it's so much fun. What is Bowman Gray? You're right. Bowman Gray is its own animal. I mean, I love going up there, sitting in the stands, and just watching you guys do your thing there. Is it different with mic'd up and camera crews and all of that around, or is that the challenge? It's still not different. It's still the passion of Bowman Gray Stadium.
Well, what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
And I think that's the main question that people across the country want to know the answer to. Is it really like that? And, you can attest to it yourself. It really is like that. There's no hidden secrets. It is what you see is what you get. But as far as being mic'd up and everything, Steve, I tell people, if your wife plants a big red bush right outside your front door, you see it the first 5 times you walk past it, and then you become immune to it. And that's kind of the way, as a personal experience, whenever you're mic'd up and there's cameras around, you just kind of, you're doing your thing. You know what I mean? You're just kind of doing your everyday racetrack thing, and there just happens to be cameras there. You know, my wife told me at the very beginning of all of this stuff that the TV cameras are going to be gone one day, and you're still going to be racing there. And you know, that's one of the things that I've tried to hold true to, and try to make sure that I don't, you know, do anything any different than I would do if the TV cameras weren't there.
And what a place that is, Bowman Gray. And I like the bush. I
like that. That
scenario.
analogy is pretty good. Yeah,
I was curious where he was going
I know,
with
when
that.
you start talking about your wife planning, I'm like, where in the world is Burt going on this? But you wound it around pretty good there. You did pretty good with that.
Impressive. We're gonna write an analogies of Burt Myers. But you know, we have other people on the show like Jason Myers, your brother as well, George Brunholzl, Tim Brown, Jonathan Brown, and these are people that you compete with on a regular basis. Did the fact that this is on TV, I mean, like you said, you do your own thing, but did that change anything when it came down to the action on the racetrack?
I don't think so. I don't think you really, you know, we're there, the core of this group is there for one reason, and that's to win. And, you know, you can, when it comes down to being in that car and the competitive nature that we all have, the TV cameras don't really factor into that. You know, it helps greatly with exposure and helps bring light to our short track nation. But, you know, I like to think that I can't really speak for those guys, but on my end of things, you know, I tried to just go out and do my thing. And then at the end of the day, you say, oh, it's on TV. And I think that's one of the cool things about this experience is that people are getting the behind the scenes of what it really feels like to be a part of short track racing. And then whenever you throw the fact that it's Bowman Gray into the mix, holy cow. I mean, you know, if you've ever been to Bowman Gray, you can kind of feel it, a little bit of what I'm talking about. If you've never been there, you better make an effort to try to get there and experience this yourself. And if you can't, you better catch it on Discovery Channel because it's going to be awesome.
That's what I think is the beauty of this thing is it's authentic. It really is. I as shared with Hannah, I made it there 3 times this year on Saturday nights, and I loved every one of them. I just what's going on at Bowman Gray Stadium is so much fun along the way. I'm so impressed with the way everything rolls and how that all works. Okay, so we know this is coming up. It's Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on the Discovery Channel. I've seen it all over your Facebook, all over your social media. Is there a big viewing party? What do you know? I know everyone's all twisted up about it here. What's the plan as we get closer and closer to air date?
Well, we have talked about it. We really have about a bunch of us getting together. Of course, I don't know that we want, as drivers, want to get together.
No.
Because, you know, it's you know, racing at Bowman Gray, the old saying of keep your friends close and your enemies closer, I think they wrote that about Bowman Gray Stadium. So I don't know that we're all going to get together as drivers and watch it, but I feel for sure that our friends, families, neighbors, you know, our close friends, I guess, we're all going to get together and sit down and watch this thing. And the cool part to me is we know what went on this year. We know what they filmed in my shop. We know what they filmed at the racetrack. I don't know what was filmed outside of that. So we're just as excited about watching this premiere as everybody else is, to see what comes out and to see the behind the scenes of what happens in other people's shops and what else is going on in the racing world and in our racing world, I guess you could say. So, yeah, we'll all get together, and I'm sure Slate and the kids will get to stay up late that night to watch the premiere of it.
I am sure they will. Burt, I've already established, I love what you guys do at Bowman Gray. I love this thing along the way. Being totally honest with you, and I know that you've heard this before, there is a small segment of the racing community that puts their nose in the air and says, this is not good, a not good image for motorsports. What do we say? What do you say when you hear that? You know, I love the idea this program's coming on. What do I say to defend this as far as that goes? Because the thing of it is people don't realize it is authentic. It's what happens at the stadium. This is not made up stuff, but so many people across the country don't realize that. What do you say to that, Burt?
Well, I tell you what, if that's a tough question.
Yeah, it is. I wrestle with it too, dude.
It really is. I mean, the fact of it is the best way I know how to describe that to somebody is don't knock it till you try it. until you come over and you see what we go through and you see what happens at Bowman Gray, and the management even admit it's more entertainment than it is racing. And as long as you buy into that, and as long as you know that going in, then that's the only way you can operate. And, you know, the fact of it is Steve, we are, you know, we're ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Yep. We go through our regular lives and we sacrifice and we do whatever it takes to be able to go racing on the weekend. And I think that whether it's baseball or football or whether you have a boat, I think that people can relate to that. People say, man, you know what? I can remember a time where I spent money I didn't have for X amount or whatever. And you know, we go through that. You know, sometimes we use bill money to pay racing stuff. Sometimes we use racing winnings to pay bill money or to pay bills. And I think that America in general can relate to that. I think the people that don't understand it have never been a part of it. And so to that small group of people, all I ask is to come check it out. And what you see on this show is going to be exactly what we go through on any given weekend. So don't think it's fabricated. Don't think that, there's no way that really happens, because if you've been there, you know it does.
In 2018, Bowman Gray champion Burt Myers, we've got you on the phone here. I completely agree with that.
That answer that you gave, Burt, actually sent chills up my spine. If you don't knock it, try it. Because you're absolutely right. The people that small group, they probably have never been to the stadium and had a good time on a Saturday night like the thousands and thousands of people have. I'm telling you, that's a great answer to that. That really is.
Well, and even speaking to me as someone who was born and raised in southern Idaho, in a small track, I raced in the Northwest, I'd heard about Bowman Gray, and I'd heard about all the crazy stuff. I saw the Facebook videos of people chasing each other down and that kind of stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, those people are insane. And then I got out here, and then I got to go to the races and see it. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you said if you can go into it and buy into the entertainment factor of it, that it is the people that are around there, but the racing is good as well, and it's a big hype. But overall, that's what sells this thing. That's what makes it so exclusive. Now, I'm going to ruin it for anyone who hasn't followed along yet, but obviously, Burt, 2018 track champion here at Bowman Gray. How much cooler does it make to have this show and also know that you walked away with another track title?
Well, what do you think? I tell you, it's you know, to be able to accomplish what I have. God's blessed me and my family, and you know, we've been able to just go over and just keep doing it week in and week out, and to be that guy, I mean, you know, that's the cool factor. I would be lying if I said otherwise. And I don't care who you are. I don't care, you know, how much success you've had. To be able to be in this position, you know, it's a blessing for me, and it is cool. I mean, the bottom line, I know may sound cliche, but it's cool. It really is cool, and I've been able to, you know, be in certain situations that people dream of, and I'm thankful every day to God that I'm in this situation. But to be able to be on TV, to be able to have a reality TV show based on you and your family and your racing series and at your track, and to be able to be the champion, I mean, hey, what else could you dream of?
Burt, I got a couple other things away from the Discovery Channel program, and we'll make sure we give all those details again before we get out of here. This year, I found your plan fascinating as far as that goes. Yes, we know you focused on Bowman Gray Stadium, but you had the opportunity to do something I know that was very important to you. You had a chance to go up north and run with Eddie Harvey and not just show up here once in a while. You ran 9 times. Your season ended with 4 top 10 finishes, including a third-place run at New Hampshire. We always get into this Southern Modifieds, Northern Modified deal and the back and forth that we have. What does it mean to you to be able to, A, go up there and race with a good effort, and B, be competitive, especially these last 4 races?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm having the time of my life. Yeah. You know, I feel like a 40-year-old rookie that's kind of coming in and getting his feet wet, because, you know, even though I've raced with a lot of these guys at the North-South Shootout, and you know, when we did some of the Southern-Northern combination races, to be able to go to these guys' home tracks. And, you know, you don't really think about it. I think a lot of people in the South don't realize that the majority of the guys that run on that Northern Tour race at Thompson and Stafford and Riverhead, and they grew up there the way I grew up at Bowman Gray Stadium. So whenever you can step into that atmosphere and be successful and have top runs and earn their respect, which I feel like we have, it's a very gratifying experience as a modified driver with modified roots. And I think the thing that I say this all the time, the thing that I take away mostly from that is the fact that the people in that area have such an appreciation for modifieds. And, of course, that's easy for me to say because I'm a modified guy. But I think somehow in the mix that modifieds, other than Bowman Gray Stadium, have become a support class in the South. And at nobody's fault. I think it's just the way that things have evolved. But when you go up north, modifieds are treated like the Cup Series. And to somebody that grew up in modifieds, that is very heartwarming to me. And, to touch on how we've been running, me and Eddie both and all of our associates, we have all put everything we could into this. And to go up there and race against guys that have a $250,000 budget and to come out of a little dually with a tag-along trailer and to be able to run top 3 at somewhere like New Hampshire, I mean, that's I've been made fun of because of my interview, but, it's just like what you're talking about with the TV show and with Bowman Gray. It's legit. I think that if you watched my interview, you could tell that I was genuine and that how much that actually meant to me to be able to go up there and do that. And, to touch on again the fact that I've had a lot of success in my racing career and to be able to go up there and then act like a little kid, that's kind of stuff that I've always wanted to do, and I'm getting to live the dream.
And you talk about the fans that love modified racing up north. We had that Full Throttle weekend, which was the second New Hampshire Cup date originally.
Yes.
Modifieds headlined for the Musket 250. We had the K&N Pro Series East and the Pinty Series, which were the support series for that, and the fans showed up. There was camping everywhere. I mean, the fans packed the stands, and the modifieds were the headliners. That just tells you how great modified racing is up in the Northeast. So that was a cool atmosphere.
That really is. That's an amazing atmosphere. It really was. Burt, finally, and Hannah and I talked about this in the opening segment of the show. While the tours end and this ends and Bowman Gray ends, you're still racing. Congratulations. You had a big win on Saturday night at Orange County, but I guess the nice part about it is there's a $5,000 bonus that you've earned. North-South Shootout is coming up at Concord on November 10th. Throw a little money out there, and Burt Myers puts it to the front. You got to be excited about winning on Saturday night, but then you got to be excited about going to Concord and maybe cashing an even bigger check.
Well, yes, what they asked me if that was extra motivation to go to the North-South Shootout and try to win. And I said, well, if you've ever been to the North-South Shootout at Concord, you don't need extra motivation to go there. But I do have about 5,000 reasons to try to go win that race. But thanks about the win at Orange County. That's a racetrack that I've always loved, and I've always loved racing at. But our plans were kind of up in the air about what we were going to do and what races we were going to be able to fit in. And my southern schedule was actually cut way back this year compared to normal because of my northern trip. So to be able to go to Orange County and we had 12 cars, but 10 of those cars could have won the race the other night. So to be able to do what we did, and with the help of Eddie and his guys, and all of our partners, Picture Safe and Fury Chassis and LFR and everybody that's involved, we were able to show up and take the victory. So we had a couple goals, and one of them was to win that race at Orange County to make us eligible for that $5,000. So going to one of my favorite racetracks at Concord for that North-South Shootout, like I said, I've got about 5,000 reasons to go down there and try to win that race.
There we go.
Well, congratulations on that win, Burt, and hopefully good luck at the North-South Shootout. Thanks so much for joining us, and we look forward to watching you, actually, Monday night again on Discovery Channel, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, as we watch race night at Bowman Gray. So thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you. We really appreciate everything you guys do for those local short tracks and to get this out there about this Discovery, about this TV show, because race night at Bowman Gray is definitely going to be something that you need to tune into, and the naysayers that don't believe it, or the people that don't understand how it works, get you a piece of this show, and then maybe try to get a trip out to see the live action at Bowman Gray this year, because you won't be disappointed.
No doubt. If you cannot make it, you have to tune in again Monday night, 10 p.m. Eastern on the Discovery Channel, race night at Bowman Gray. All right, when we return, we're going to highlight the racing coming up this weekend, and there's a little something special going on this week down at New Smyrna Speedway, where drivers contend for a spot on Drive Diversity Rev Racing when we get back.
Chris Crockett, straight from the NASCAR stands, here with another member of our Toyota racing family, Jason.
Hi there.
Oh, you seem impatient.
Oh, well, I've been holding it in for a while.
A while?
Since it started.
The race?
No, the season.
Wow. Guess you don't want to miss any action.
Nope, I don't.
Oh, did you just see Denny Hamlin take the lead?
I haven't taken my eyes off him.
Jason, you don't look so good. Can I offer you some water?
Absolutely not.
NASCAR and Toyota Racing. With a family like this, who knows the places we'll go in the playoffs? Learn more at toyotaracing.com. Toyota, let's go places. NASCAR is a registered trademark of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, Inc.
Grunt style. The American fighting spirit is in everything we make. We are 500 patriots and veterans strong, bringing clothing manufacturing back to the United States of America. Always moving forward, never retreating, never giving up. We are Grunt Style, and this we'll defend. Get yours at gruntstyle.com.
O'Reilly.
A dead battery can leave you stranded, so get yours tested for free during Superstart Battery Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Need a replacement? Purchase a Superstart Extreme or Superstart Platinum battery and get up to $25 in O'Reilly gift cards after a mail-in rebate. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is NASCAR Coast to Coast, brought to you by Hercules Tires and by Grunt Style. Here are Kyle Rickey and Hannah Newhouse.
Racing continues all across America this up-and-coming weekend, but first we take a look back. Josh Berry wins that famous fall brawl out at Hickory Speedway. Another big win for Junior Motorsports, but when we talk about short track racing and the people that are coming up, there's a big thing going on down at New Smyrna Speedway right now. The Drive for Diversity Combine happening with Rev Racing and NASCAR Drive for Diversity. What a great program.
And you were part of this, right? Do you tell me, what did you do with that a couple years ago? You were part of this, right?
Yes, I went 4 years, almost in a row, I believe. Yep, started when I was 15, had just won a late models, like a big late model race out in Idaho, became the youngest female to ever do so, and opened up a door of opportunities. It's a great thing. I think there's 12 participants this year. They go down to Florida at New Smyrna Speedway. They do on-track testing, media testing, physical fitness preparation, everything that it takes to essentially excel in motorsports. And NASCAR Diversity gives these 12 kids a shot to potentially drive for Rev Racing in a K&N car or late model stock.
Man, I'll tell you, that is a great program. I've enjoyed watching that, and we've seen the fruits of that with some drivers that have worked their way through. And I think that's the reality of racing is you get an opportunity, and the challenge of racing is you get an opportunity, but then you get to prove it on yourself. There's no guarantees in racing either, and the D4D program has done wonderful things with it. Man, I'll be following along and see where those kids all end up as they work their way up the ladder. That's for sure.
Yeah, you've got kids like Chase Cabry and Ruben Garcia looking for another chance behind the wheel of those cars, but you've got newcomers like Gracie Trotter and Brittany Zamora.
Gracie's great. I've watched her in the Legends for years and years. Gracie's a great kid. That's cool, yeah.
It'll be really interesting to see who makes that lineup for the 2019 season. But for now, I'm headed to Bakersfield this upcoming weekend to close out that NASCAR K&N Pro Series West Championship. Don't know if anyone can catch Derek Thorne, but looking forward to wrapping up the season finale.
And I can't wait. My favorite weekend of the NASCAR year, the fall weekend at Martinsville. A little chill in the air, some playoff racing for the trucks and for the Cup Series. I'm telling you, I love Martinsville, and I can't wait to get up there and have a few of those world-famous Martinsville hot dogs, too.
Yeah, you know, I can't say I'm really jealous about the hot dogs, but I will say I'm jealous about Martinsville. All right, well, we look forward to doing this next week. For producers Craig Moore and Brian Yeswich, that's Steve Post. I'm Hannah Newhouse, and we'll see you next week on NASCAR Coast to Coast.
NASCAR Coast to Coast has been brought to you by Hercules Tires and by Grunt Style. NASCAR Coast to Coast can be found on demand at MRN.com, iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, and SoundCloud. NASCAR Coast to Coast is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.